your religious belief, then that's not based on bigotry. And why sound so surprised that even a bigot can have integrity? A lot of people would be a lot better off if we had integrity. Somebody else said, she gives marriage licenses to divorce people. Yeah, and depending on what branch, what denomination of Christianity she follows, that may or may not be an issue. You know, we also had issues with this really awesome ISIS cake with Walmart. Got some interesting posts with that, as I had the link to it. The apology, I thought, was absolutely outrageous. Can anybody out there actually accept an apology that just blames the ignorance of the employees? Biggest response to that question when I put it on the Facebook page was no. In fact, a friend of mine that lives in Indiana now, we went to high school together, though, she posted to this, in a word, no. I used to run the bakery department in a Sam's Club up there in Indiana. And bottom line is that everybody knows what they're putting on a cake, what they can and what they can't. And the lead for the department is always checking the associates' work. So the excuse that the employees didn't know what was going on doesn't seem particularly likely. We had Black Lives Matter protesters disrupt Chicago Gay Rights Pride, or Gay Pride Parade. Gay Rights Pride. Blah, 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 blah. Easy for me to say. Black Lives Matter protesters disrupt Chicago Gay Pride Parade. Of course, Greece is in full meltdown. We've got a lawyer in the United Kingdom that's arguing that they should allow the legal age of consent to be dropped to 13 because prosecution laws for pedophilia are abusing older men. Another lady, Hood County clerk, still won't issue same-sex marriage licenses. Put that up, and almost no response. And she basically said that it's my religious liberty, my belief in traditional marriage. Nobody has tried to get one. Nobody has called about them other than reporters. That was a lady in Denton County. I believe that's Texas. I would need to pull it up, but there was a lot of this. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the EPA Chief McCarthy basically called everybody that doesn't believe in man-caused climate change weirdos. Tuesday at a White House public hearing and climate change summit, the EPA Administrator, Gina McCarthy, said normal people, not climate deniers, will win the fight on global warming. This is a person that's supposed to be in a position of authority. Now, we did get word that the Supreme Court will be picking up another look at affirmative action when it comes to college admissions. So that's upcoming in the next session. There were a group of college kids that signed a petition to remove George Washington's statue from a university. Actually, the University of Texas, it would appear. You've got the ACLU already saying that it can no longer support freedom of religion laws. When the ACLU fought for them for so long, of course, that's when they were fighting for a small group of Native American tribes and an unusual sect. It was more of a cult kind of thing. But they were white folks. They were supporting the Religious Freedom Acts then because they were trying to support their use of peyote and other hallucinogenics. Well, they're all about religious freedom then. When it comes to drug use, they're all about it. But when it comes to trying to protect Christian values, well, then all of a sudden, well, we just can't do it anymore. Don't Christians have civil liberties too? I mean, I know we've been trying to ignore that for a while, but that's really where we're at. Big waves when the Oklahoma Supreme Court decided that the Ten Commandments statue had to be removed from the state capitol. We got a little reaction from that one too on Facebook, but that one kind of got lost in the shuffle. I know most of you guys have heard about that. I'm still trying to think, why is it that so many people seem to think the Ten Commandments have to be removed from government buildings? Now, their claim is that it indirectly benefits Jewish and Christian people. In fact, the bottom line is they got a little wanky with it, but the Ten Commandment Monument on the Oklahoma Capitol grounds is a religious symbol and must be removed because it violates the state's constitutional ban on using public property to benefit a religion. That, according to the Oklahoma State Supreme Court. That ruling came down this past Tuesday. The court said the Ten Commandments chiseled directly into a 6-foot-tall granite monument, which was privately funded by a Republican legislature, are obviously religious in nature and are an integral part of the Jewish and Christian faiths. Hey, your honors, morons in the black robes, it is also obviously an integral part of the legal system for which you're supposed to be operating. It has a historical value linked to any courtroom in this country. And the bottom line is, if more people followed the handy guide of rules to live by contained therein, you guys would probably have a whole lot less business because, well, there'd be less crime and less civil disputes. Make no mistake about it. As far as the judges are concerned, at least as far as I can tell, this isn't so much about whether or not it's religious. It's about making sure that nobody sees these so that they can continue to justify earning a salary so that they get more business. How much crime do you have if you're living in accordance with the Ten Commandments? Very little. How many civil disputes do you have if you're living in accordance with Christian taught principles, or even Judeo principles? Very few. Just, I don't know, food for thought. I don't see where they believe that Jews and Christians are getting some type of benefit from it being there, other than a reminder that the court recognizes the historical ramifications, implications, connection to our legal system and the Judeo-Christian belief sector that evolved up from the Ten Commandments. What's wrong with a little history? In all honesty, based on what I've seen with folks going into court, they could use an extra dose of the Ten Commandments, not have it reduced even further. And that's not establishing a religion. That's just giving a little historical perspective. At any rate, Attorney General Scott Pruitt had argued that the monument was historical in nature and nearly identical to the Texas monument that was found constitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court. The Oklahoma justices said the local monument violated the state's constitution, not the U.S. Constitution. The Attorney General offices has filed for a rehearing in the case. Private funds were used to erect the memorial in 2012. Since then, others have asked for space, including a Nevada Hindu leader, animal rights advocates, the satirical Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and a group publishing for a Satan statue. Pushing for. I'm beginning to think it's time for classes. It sucks getting older. Governor Mary Fallon's representative said that she is taking, definitely time for glasses, that she is talking to Pruitt about the state's legal options about the statue's ordered removal. Pruitt's representative said the Attorney General's office will explore legal options after it is finished reviewing the Oklahoma Supreme Court's decision. Pruitt did release a statement saying, quote, "Quite simply, the Oklahoma Supreme Court got it wrong. The court completely ignored the profound historical impact of the Ten Commandments on the foundation of Western law. Furthermore, the court's incorrect interpretation of Article 2, Section 5 contradicts previous rulings of the court. In response, my office will file a petition with the court for a rehearing in light of the broader implications of this ruling on other areas of state law. Additionally, we have requested a stay of the enforcement of the court's order until the court can consider the petition for rehearing. Finally, if Article 2, Section 5 is going to be construed in such a manner by the court, it will be necessary to repeal it." Ooh. At any rate, I'm going to stop with the article there, but it does go on. Bottom line is, got some reaction off of that because, when I posted that link to the Tap Into the Truth Facebook page, I put the section, Oklahoma Supreme Court says Ten Commandment monument at state capitol must be removed because it indirectly benefits the Jewish and Christian faith in violation of the state's constitution. Then I asked the question, how exactly is that the case? A gentleman who I believe was completely sincere and was at least respectful in his response, but obviously thought that it was the correct ruling. In response to my question, said that because if you go into the courthouse and your case is about to be decided by judges and jurors who walk past this thing, that being the monument with the Ten Commandments on it, they're a little less likely to take your side if you aren't Jewish or Christian. Okay, there's more, but I'm going to stop there and we'll pick up the rest. Sir, I believe you're sincere in your concern, and I respect your opinion on this. I do. If you happen to be listening to the show tonight, understand I picked this out because I thought you were respectful and you were making an effort to be thoughtful. And I want to make sure that you understand that this is for conversation purposes that I bring this up. But I disagree with you in your response, and I will tell you why. I don't think very many people walking by that monument, if they're coming in to work or coming in for jury duty, slow down long enough to take a look at it. If it's anything like courts anywhere else that I've been, they'll be lucky if they even glance at it and recognize it for what it is, let alone read it. If somebody is going to determine how they're going to decide a case, whether it's a juror or a judge, based on whether or not you're a Jew or a Christian, or you're not, then they're bringing that in with or without that monument being there. And I will go you one further. If somebody's bringing in that mindset, then they are bigoted. But most Christians and the few Jewish people that I know, and I say few because there are a few that I know personally. I know lots of Jewish people. There's a few that I know well. They take their faith seriously enough that they would make every effort to honor and respect the law and not let that prejudice them. But I contend to you that that monument there is not going to suddenly create someone deciding to prejudice against someone else in that courtroom. They're either bringing that in already, or it's not going to happen. And that monument won't have an effect there. Now, he continued on